Pokemon cards are continuing to explode in value. In this video, we're going to look at some cards that have increased in value by 50, 70, and even over 100% in value in the last 3 months alone. The first card we're going to look at is the Seismitoad Black Bolt. This card is illustrated by Shinji Kanda. He's done some of the most iconic Pokemon cards in recent memory. This card has gone up 65% in the last 3 months. If we want to look further, we can see the sales here. A couple people sold off here at 180, but it's continued climbing. The 6-month return, we saw a little bit of dip here before climbing again. In 1 year, it's gone up 236%. This card used to be about a $60 to $70 card, but it shot up real quickly. So you probably might have missed out on this. Many people probably did. It did take quite a big dip after it peaked at about 220, but it's been slowly climbing, and I expect this card to continue climbing here moving forward. The next card we're going to look at is the Slowpoke from Scarlet and Violet base. This card is currently about $45. We can see here in the last 3 months, it's gone from about a $25 card now to $45. The returns here about 83% according to TCG Player. So another great card. 6 months, if you want to look at that, it's gone up 132%. And all time, or 1 year, I should say, it's gone up 172%. This is continuing to go up here. I would expect it to kind of level off at some point, but now that this card is out of print, I expect this card to continue to go up in value. The next card, also from Scarlet and Violet base, we have the Drowsy 210. This card is an illustration rare that has seen very similar results to the Slowpoke. We can see 3 months here. It's gone up 80% from about $31 to $57. Over the course of 6 months, it's gone up 127%, and 1 year, 124%. So this card, again, being out of print, I expect this to maybe level off for a little bit. Looks like it's kind of already leveling a bit from this recent spike. I think this card is a great art card. It's very unique. It's got a really nice kind of sleeping and unique art style to it. I think this is a great pickup, especially for $50 still. And if you can find one that's worth grading, send it in. Get a great return on your investment. Either way, love this card. I will assume this card is going to continue climbing at this point. Our fourth card, the Sylveon EX from Prismatic Evolutions. This set in general is climbing recently. This set is going to be going out of print in the next year or so. So expect these cards to continue climbing. But this card in particular, over the last 3 months, has gone up 66%. 6 months down in percentage, but still doing very well. It's because there was a little bit of a dip here that must have caught the early beginning of this 3-month trend. And then same thing with the 1 year. You know, it started high, went down, up, and then there was a little bit of a plateau period here before it spiked recently again. So great card right now. Gone up 66%. From about a $300 card to almost a $500 card. I think being an evolution set, this set in general is going to be strong. I think these cards, even though I don't love necessarily the style of them, I've got quite a bit of this stuff sealed. This is a great pickup, being evolutions. I think this card continues to climb as well as the whole set in general for the evolutions specific cards. Moving on to the Bulbasaur. Illustration rare from Stellar Crown. We see this card is currently at $138. Beautiful card art again. I think he's all cute, cozy. He's got all of his plants around him, just basking in the sunlight there coming through the window. This card's gone from about an $84 card to $136 in the past 3 months. 6 months, we can see that it's gone from 57 to where it is now, about 141%, and then 1 year, 196%. So again, these are great investment cards. Again, once they are going out of print, these cards are going to be valuable as any other card as well. So I really love this card. I do not have this card yet, but I do plan to pick this card up myself. I think this is one of my favorite cards. It's an original 151 Pokemon. I think the art is great. It's simple. It's cute. He's basking in the sun. He's making this cute little face here. I think it's a great card. And you know what? Worst case, it doesn't go up in value. I still love this card, and I'm happy with it. Okay, moving on. We have a little bit of an outlier here. Hydropple EX from Stellar Crown as well. This card is about a $47, $46 card right now. It's seen a massive spike here. You know, in the last 6 months here, we can see, but the last 3 months and even last month specifically, it was mostly in this last month. It's gone up from $25 to $40, 58%. In the last 3 months, it's gone up 89% almost. You can see this card, if we look long term, well, going back a year, it's been about $25, give or take, $25 for the last uh, almost a year now, really, and it just spiked. So I do want to look at this graph a little bit here because I do want to note some things here. We can see that towards the beginning of this, a bunch of cards were bought and sold at this date here between May 4th and May 10th. I don't know if this is market manipulation, but you can see that there was about, for the most part, 20, 30 sales, a couple of spikes earlier on with this card. But recently, this is just a massive spike. This thing is way higher than all these other sales data. So this could be something. I'm cautious on this card. I don't love this card myself. I think the art style is really unique, but I still don't love it. So I probably will not pick up this card. But I do think it's cool. It's unique. I don't love the card art myself. But yeah, if it's your thing, pick it up. It's definitely a unique looking art, a style that's not super common. It almost looks like watercoloring even, and kind of like a retro watercoloring to me is how I would maybe explain it. But yeah, I think this card will plateau here in the next coming weeks. I think it'll even dip down a little bit. I think I'm a little bit concerned of how quickly this stable line pumped so quickly here in the last month or so. I would expect a little drop off myself. We'll see. But yeah, that one's gone up quite a bit here in the last 3 months at 89% about. The Ghastly from Temporal Forces, another great card. The Ghastly, the Haunter, the Gengar cards are usually cards that are in high demand. This is an illustration from Temporal Forces. We can see we've got Gengar in here. We've got Ghastly in here. We've got a couple of Ghastlys in here. We've got Gengar. We've got Haunter here in the background. We've got Meowth here kind of sneaking around looking at what's going on. It's a pretty cool card. I'm not in love with the card art myself in general. Also, this card is just not something super desirable to me. I think it's a great card if you want to invest in something. It's gone in the last 3 months up about 80%. We can see here it's kind of stabilized a little bit maybe or so in the last, let's see, since April, it's gone up about 10, 20 bucks. So probably at a pretty good plateau point where it might trickle down a little bit. It looks like it's doing that here. I would expect around $105, $110 to be its new baseline. And I do think this card will continue popping in value long term here. I think this would have been a really good buy point between October and March. These are really good trends that you want to be seeing when you're considering picking up a card. If a card has been stable for months, this is probably its new baseline before it jumps again. And that's exactly what it did here till April. And now we've kind of seen a little bit downtrend, like I said, and it's even kind of plateaued, you could even say, in the last month or two. So this is likely a new baseline level of price, I believe, in that 100, 110 range. And I do think at some point, again, this thing will climb with the popularity of this Pokemon. Moving on to Oshawott from White Flare. This is a 5th generation starter. This card art it's super cute to me. I really enjoy this card. Not one of my favorite Pokemon, but I can see why this card is popular. So again, moving down here to the graph, we can see very similar to the Hydra Apple. This card under the longest time was around a $40, $45 card. And recently it jumped up to $92. This card, I believe, will probably plateau, if not regress down into the 80s, maybe even the 70s a little bit here in the coming weeks. That's just my opinion. I think it just pumped really quickly, and frequently I will see cards that go up this quickly kind of regress a little bit. So if you want to pick it up now, this card is exploding in value, or has exploded over the last month. If we want to look at the 3 months here, we can see it's gone up 100%. And in the 1 month term, 30%. So great returns recently if you own this card already. If not, it might be something you want to pick up or see if it cools off a little bit down into that $70 or $80 mark that I'm kind of expecting. I probably won't pick this card up. I collect a lot of the original 151. Moving on to Black Bolt, we have Zekrom here, EX. This card over the past 3 months has gone up 46%. 6 months, we can see 28% because it did dip, and it's considering this as it's going from here 405 to 520, and then 1 year it's not going to be as much either because these cards were hyped when they came out. They saw a big tank like many cards do, another bump, and then it regressed. So again, this is kind of like that trough you want to see when you're looking at buying a little bit of older cards, right? So between December, let's say, yeah, December 8th, December 15th, this is about a $400 card, dropped down to $350. and then back into March is 380 again. So this is a pretty good buy cycle here between that around $400 within 10 or 20 bucks, if that would have been a good buy point. And then recently, again, we've got that big spike up. Moving forward, we can see the same trend with the Victini. We can see in 3 months about 45%, very similar. 6 months, it's gone up quite a bit as well. And then overall, we have that spike, a little bit of a lull, not nearly as big of a drop as the Zekrom did, peaked again, and then it kind of troughed here with a low level, which would have been a good buy cycle again. The one thing I do want to point out with these cards is we look at the last 3 months. These cards, there's not many of them out there selling. So I don't think there's as many of these available. There's clearly not this many available if this is what our graph is showing, right? So these are slowing down in availability. The Zekrom has a little bit more available. You can see 6, 10, 8, 12. But the Victini, there's, 4, 2, 0, 3, 0, 0, 0, 1, 3, 5. So that card is slowing down in availability. I do expect these being one of the newer rarity types with kind of the monochrome look, the all black, the all white, and then even the Reshiram. I think those cards are going to continue to climb as well here in the coming months. And then finally, let's take a look at Mega Lucario from Mega Evolution. I love the Mega cards. They're some of my favorite art cards. I love that they feature 2 prominent Pokemon typically. I have the Mewtwo from Crown Zenith, and I just picked up the Charizard this past weekend at a card show. I love these cards. So we can see over the last 3 months, this card's gone up 56% almost, from a point of 152 now to 240. 6 months, it dropped a little bit. So this is your cycle where you want to be buying. If you're looking at buying old cards in general, I know you can't go back and buy this card now, but moving forward, if there are cards you have your eyes on, this is the good time to be buying these cards. And then we look at the 1 year. Again, new sets have high values. They typically drop. Can't say the same for Ascended Heroes recently, but you will typically see this high value at release. They will slowly go down for a couple of months. You've got this low level. That's your buying cycle before they start going up again, in my opinion. So again, we can see between December and March, April, that would have been a great time. But overall, this card in the last 3 months has been real great on returns at 56%. So there are many other cards out there that are going up in value right now. The summertime cycle usually has a higher instance of cards climbing quickly. Typically in the fall, winter months, cards kind of cool down a little bit or stay a little bit more plateau or stagnant on their values. That's a great time to be buying. But if I'm going to say between buying now and waiting till winter, even if they get the sales kind of flatten or stay a little bit more stable, there's still probably going to be a jump up on many cards over the summer. I would say don't wait if you want to buy a card. From my personal experience, I'm still learning. Buy cards when you want them. Buy cards at the price points you are happy with, and just hold them. If they go down 10, 20, 30 bucks, it's not the end of the world. They're going to go out of print. Likely that price will spike back up in value and you'll get your money back out of it. Don't buy a card at release for $500, sell it a month later for $200 and not understand the hobby. You've got to understand the cycles to really understand what's going on and when to buy, when to sell. So these are some of the cards, like I said, that are spiking right now in value. There's tons of other cards. Let me know in the comments what your cards you're picking up, some cards that you see are spiking. Please help me out, grow the channel, subscribe, like below, comment. Let me know what cards you're looking at, what cards you picked up recently, which cards you think are undervalued and you think will be climbing here in the next 3 coming months. Again, thanks for coming to the channel today, and we'll see you next time.